bitch. Throw it back, you know I'm worth it. I'm a savage. I'll take you to Chicago. Do you wanna go to France?
Alright. So we about to link up with my boy.
Hey, welcome to my crib.
Hey, you give me MTV vibes. Oh shit. You got the whole setup. He said, welcome to my crib.
Yeah, so this is the headquarters, the office. This is where we shoot everything out of. Podcast, this is me throughout the spread. We do several other podcasts, Live from Housing, Discourse and Dialogue, Fifth Place Podcast. We assist other people in filming their stuff so that their vision can come true. Like we were saying in the car, some of the hesitation was starting because you're not able to have the nice equipment. Yeah. You don't want to spend $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 worth of equipment in here. So
that's a fact.
You know, studio time, you know what I mean? So.
That's a fact. This light is bright as fuck.
Yeah.
You look like Nav.
Nav? I thought, you know, with the Steve Jobs sweater. But,
yeah.
You know.
We got a little interview today. Hey. And you already know who I am. Can you introduce yourself?
Canaan, Santiago, you know, podcast extraordinaire.
Yeah.
You know, you want to subscribe to the channel. This is me. Go on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. You know, that's where we live, man. That's
so you got all that.
All
in a bag of chips.
All that in a bag of chips. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I just had this pizza like next to you. Oh my god, that shit was good as hell. But when I walked in, I ain't gonna hold you. It was mad cops in there. Yep. I walked in, I was like, oh!
Yeah.
I was like, if I walk out now, I'm gonna look funny. I was like, let me just order this pizza.
Yep. That's happened to me a couple times when I've had weed in my pocket. And I like go in there with some of my boys because like we'll cut a podcast at like 10, 11. Mm-hmm. Or like, no, not because they close at 10. But we cut it at like 9:30 and they'll be closed downstairs. Yeah. So we got to go to that other pizza joint. We walk in there and they got like 6 cops in there and you're just like...
They chilling too. Like,
yeah, everyone has that same reaction where they're just like, oh, bro, yeah, we owe. And it's just like, bro, why? First of all, chill out.
Exactly.
Because you look hot now. And it's like, let's just go in. Because I've lived here for like I've lived in like this square block for 4 or 5 years now. So it's like, I know the cops. They know. I have a big ass fucking pit bull. They've seen her when she was like a puppy, when I was dragging her ass down the street because she didn't want to walk anymore. Yeah. So they know me. They know my son. So it's like, I've never been pulled over here. It's like, bro, just chill. They're chill. As long as we're not doing nothing ignorant, which is hard to do sometimes with the people I have on the podcast.
Exactly.
We're set. You know what I mean? The only time we've had a problem in a podcast is when I was recording Live from Housing, which is my boy's podcast. Go subscribe to that too. They got angry at each other and they deadass came out here to scrap. They came out here to throw down. I was just like, yo, that's hilarious.
What's happened, bro?
What happened?
So I was shooting a video. I'm shooting another video with somebody, right? So you know how you gotta delete like fucking parts to make more space in your phone?
Yeah.
I deleted the whole fucking video that I just edited with you. Edited, bro. It was a 26-minute video.
Now you're gonna pay for the next one now.
So nigga told me to pay for the next interview and I pulled up on him. But
it's funny, bro. Bro, fucking niggas always ask me, it's like, yo, how much to pay to get on your shit? And I'm just like, bro, you gotta pay me nothing. Like, just come on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people think it's like some crazy shit. I'm like, how do you think radio people get interviews? You think they really pay them for this shit?
That don't.
Like, you come on if you want to, and you do, and you don't if you don't. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
real shit.
That should be fucking weird because, like, I don't know. Niggas sometimes think they bigger than they are. Niggas don't have empathy. It's weird, bro. You got a lighter? We could smoke in this parking lot, honestly, because you said there was a bunch of cops in there before when you went in there.
Yeah, you saw them when you walked in.
Okay, yeah, so they got their lunch. They ain't coming back.
Oh.
You know,
so they ain't coming back.
Because, like, me and my boy were, like, smoking right here one day, and finally I figured out, like, the times they go on lunch. Because we were, like, smoking a joint, and, like, literally, like, it must have been them and another department walking down the sidewalk, and I was just like, close the windows! Like,
you started yanking them bitches.
I fucking hit my seat all the way down, and they all looked over. Shit. I was like shh.
My first question is, what got you into starting a podcast? Like, what made you, like, put your foot in the door?
Well, for the podcast thing, it was like, I always had, like, conversations with people. Like, if I had met you at work or just someplace, like, we'd have a dope conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd go our both ways, and I'd be like, damn, that was dope. It would never be recorded, and only me and you would know about it. You know what I mean? So it was like, at that point, I was like, yo, I need to start a podcast. But the thing with me, like, what I was talking to you about before we even cut cameras and stuff like that, was like, I had the hesitation of, I don't want to record it on my phone. I don't want to buy shitty microphones and record it.
Nice.
I want to have the equipment to do professional podcasts. And I guess that kind of worked out, but didn't, because I like tell a lot of people that you don't need that stuff. Like, what you're doing now is great. You know what I mean? Because it's about the content. It's about the camera you have on you to capture the content that's in front of you.
Facts.
And if you're always waiting around to get the new camera, the new phone, the new microphone,
wasting mad time.
you're losing content. You know what I mean? So it's like, one day I was just like, I had my tax return. I had a couple $1,000s in my bank. And I was just like, fuck it. I went all in. I bought everything I ever wanted for podcasting. I spent like $6,000 or $7,000. And I was just like, it's time to go. You know what I mean?
7,000.
I said it was time to go. You know what I mean? Because it was like, I always hesitated in my head. And it's kind of weird because you hear like Gary Vee talk about it if you follow him. Mm-hmm. Or like any other kind of like motivational speaker. Some people, it's like, you kind of care of what other people may think. Because we're putting it out to the world. We want people to like it. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, when that shit, you know, doesn't get the views you want, it's like, oh, that shit was trash. It's like, nah, bro. We all start somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fucking Logan Paul, Jake Paul, fucking Casey Neistat, Gary Vee. All these big names started with 0 subscribers, 0 watch hours, and they found their voice over time, or pretty fast with some of the cases, and they were able to get their following. But believe it or not, they started with 0 followers.
Started with nothing.
Big old bagel.
Nothing. Next question is, if y'all watch the channel, y'all know I like cars. So, what was your first car, and what is your dream car?
My first car was a Toyota Camry, a 90, I want to say like a 94 Camry. That shit died. OD fast.
He said that shit died.
Me and my boy Steven were racing back from work. Like, just, you know, when you get a car and you're just whipping it with your friends. And so, my fucking, my coolant cap came off. And all the antifreeze came out.
Oh, shit shot out.
My dead ass, like, the front of my car was just bellowing smoke. Like, no idea why. And that shit died, and me and my boys had to push it, like, to my boy's house. And it was a whole ordeal. Then I got a Honda Civic. Then I got that shit because my dad's an alcoholic. And he couldn't pay for a Honda Insight. That car is garbage, but it's good on gas.
It's a fucking economic.
Yeah. So those are the cars I've had. My dream car, I'm not a real materialistic person when it comes to vehicles, but I love old school. I love muscle cars.
Me
like
too.
Lincoln Continental, black murdered
big,
out.
Yeah,
I would love one of those. Like a resto mod, like drop a fucking Corvette engine in it.
Oh, you bugging.
Yeah. I want one of those.
His horsepower up.
Well, I'd get a horsepower just for the fact of like, I love old cars, but like we all know, if you don't know, if you haven't seen old cars or heard people work on old cars, them shits break all the time.
All the time.
So it's like, why am I going to get a small block V8 and have that shit bust on me 4 or 5 times? I'd rather have the body of the old, like, 78 Lincoln Continental, nice long body with the suicide doors.
Suicide doors on a Lincoln?
Not like the ones that pop up. Those are butterfly doors, but the ones that open in reverse, like from the back, like that gangster shit.
Yeah, that's fire.
So I want that, but I want to put like a new engine and wiring harness in, so it's not like that's just breaking every 15 days. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Because I drive my cars. You know what I mean? Like I see people who like just like clean their car. Like I don't mind cleaning your cars.
Yeah,
I don't mind that. What I do mind is like you washing your car 6 and 7 times. It's like, bro, chill the fuck out. Like, you know what I mean?
Niggas be violent. Like your car don't even be dirty at the point.
Bro, you have like a Honda Accord. Like to the people who bust out Honda Accords thinking they're like, bro, it's a Honda Accord. Like it's the best selling car in the United States for fucking almost 20 years. Like I don't care if you put neon lights on it. I don't care if you put a fart can on it. I don't give a fuck.
He said a fart can.
You know?
Where are you from? Like where were you born?
I was born in New Canaan, Connecticut, so I think my parents got lazy with the naming and just named me Canaan. it's a biblical name, but like I was born in Connecticut. I stayed there until I was like 9, and then I moved up here. I've been in Manans, which is just right next to Albany. I went and moved.
North Albany.
Yeah, like near North Albany, exactly. Then I moved in like 10th grade to Florida to live there for a little bit with an aunt who was fucking insane.
Oh.
But I love Florida. I love like the people down there. It was a great experience. I did like a military program, ROTC or JROTC.
Yeah, they got that up here.
Yeah, they finally do. When I came back up here, I was like, yo, let me do this because I want to join the military. Oh God, I think it was like I graduated in 13. It had to be 2011. So
they had that shit yet.
Yeah, so it was like I did that for like 6-7 months. No, I did that almost a year. And then I came back up here. My parents separated. And my mom had a brilliant idea to go live in Galloway. It's literally one of the smallest towns in New York, just above Malta, below Saratoga.
Oh.
It's literally in the middle of nowhere.
Like,
bro,
you can drive through that shit, though.
K through,
really fast.
Yeah, I had kindergarten through 12th grade, and there was no more than 400 students. Like, so we're talking about the small. And it's like, that's so we moved up there, but I had some of the great times up there because it's like living in the country, like cutting down trees, working. Because like basically the deal was.
Cut a tree down?
Yeah, I cut a lot of trees down that summer. Fucking.
What the fuck?
My mom cut a deal with this guy, which was basically I would do all the landscaping and like hard labor to clear this land because they had a house, but there was like literally 5 acres of trees behind it, and it was unusable land with all those trees. So they were like, if we cut down 1.5 acres of trees, we'll have a nice big backyard to be able to sell this house eventually. Mm-hmm. And they were like, if you do that work, that pays the rent. And it was like a 6-bedroom house.
She snapped.
So it was like, she signed me up for that. I did all that work that summer, everything he asked for, and he kicked us out at the end of it.
Oh.
He cares. That guy died 2 weeks later.
Damn.
In his house alone with all his fucking dogs.
He's a flaze.
Yeah, well, he's a dead flaze.
And another question is, what is your favorite kind of weed? Like, what's your favorite?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not really. See, ask me what kind of weed is. I dropped the lighter, motherfucker. My favorite type of weed. It's kind of weird because it's like at this point in my life, I'm not old. How old are you?
I'm 21.
You're 21. I'm 20. I'm 24. Took me a second. But I've been smoking since I was like 15.
Damn.
And like,
that's not even young though.
It's not freshman in high school.
Freshman in high school.
So it's like, bro, I've been smoking so long. It's like, I feel like I've stopped caring about the type of weed I get. Because you know how I don't care? It's like when I go to places that have dispensaries and they give you the option, I just look at it like,
okay,
bro, I'm so used to a trap house. Like, you know what I mean? Them handing me weed and calling it sour. It's like, bro, I know this isn't sour.
But I'm going to smoke it.
I'm going to smoke it. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not going to question you on it.
Because then you're just going to take it back, and you're not going to give me a refund, so might as well just walk away.
Take it back. Like, you would have to shove it back under the door. Yeah, nigga, like, fuck that. I learned from an early age that when you're dealing with trap houses, they're not people. Like, this is a big corporation.
That ass is a big ass corporation.
And you think you're going to get your money back? Like, nigga, you going to get money back from McDonald's?
No.
You're going to get your order corrected.
Exactly.
But these trap houses ain't got no obligation to do their order. But now, I was enlightened years ago. My boy 40, who ran a trap house, or worked in a trap house, we sold weed, or allegedly. We were doing this like, bro, the trap house can't rob you. Because the trap house doesn't know you. He doesn't know who you're friends with, who you're brothers with. You know what I mean? You could
communication.
You could just be like, oh, word, and then walk out, and they'll be like kind of sick because it's like, oh, niggas can come back and try and run down on us. And that's just an inconvenience. And I never thought about it like that. I was like, oh shit, you're right. So they're gonna have to give me my weed.
Exactly. What was your favorite sneaker that you wanted, like when you were growing up, like when you were young?
Oh, that's the Taxis.
Taxi 12s?
The Taxi.
I love them shits.
The Taxi 12s, bro, because
I never got the Taxis.
I never got them, but the thing that pissed me off is like I always worked when I was a kid. I was delivering newspapers since I was 11. Mm-hmm. And that's just getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 7 days a week, in every kind of weather you can imagine. and throwing newspapers at the door. And when I made that money, I never wanted to go out and buy the sneakers. Like, I was at PCX head, like Pocket Change Exchange back in the day at Colony Center. You remember that store?
Hate that store,
Bro, I thought that if I just bought the cheap shit and tried to make fits look good, I didn't know. I didn't know.
Everybody knows, bro. What?
I didn't know. I wasn't that kid. I never had cool shit when I was growing up. Like, when I started making money was the only time I could afford to buy myself nice looking clothes. And my fashion sense was fucked up because I was confused as a kid. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I didn't know if I wanted to be gangster. I didn't know if I wanted to be cool and kind of look kind of like that European look that Drake finally brought over. I didn't know if I wanted to do that way before its time. I was getting clowned for wearing scarves and fedoras. I was getting absolutely flamed and finessed. But it's like, it was that confusing part in my life where it's like, I didn't know what I wanted to be because it's like, we had a lot of gangster rap back in the day. And it's like, oh, I want to be gangster. And it's like,
Dipset type shit.
Yeah, but that shit's not built for everyone, bro. Because once you get into that and you see a couple of your homies get locked up for like real time, like decades plus, and it's like, then after 5 years, they're not your friends anymore. Like, you know what I mean? They've been locked up. Yeah, bro, legit. And like, I try to tell this to people all the time. Like, if you're selling drugs and doing that, fine. I'm not telling you not to. But think of the money you're making, right? For the time, like, let's just say it's 5 years. If you get locked up with $100,000, which might seem a lot to us, $100,000, nigga, I'll rob you for that. What? Talking about? That's $20,000 a year for 5 years.
Nice.
That's less than McDonald's. Are you willing to get locked up to work a part-time job at McDonald's?
Fuck no.
Exactly. But that's the thing. It's like, people don't think about it. They think of that one lump sum. It's like, yo, I'm gonna flip that. No, like, bro, you're gonna flip that again by taking a risk in an illegal market. Like, so you're now doubling the risk and then putting all that money up for, you know what I mean, for whoever. Like, so I try to break it down like that, because it's like, nigga, if you're making like $1 million on the deal, right? 5 years locked up, you know what I mean? That's $200,000 a year. Shit, that's a fucking CEO on Wall Street's pay salary. You know what I mean? That might be worth your time. You know what I mean? That might be worth your time. I don't think like 10,000, 20,000. Like, I hear these people on Vice with the fucking masks. You're like, yeah, I'll rob that bitch. Took it for $1,000, and I'm like, bro, armed robbery for $1,000?
Just 1,000?
Bro, that's
you can make that.
That's petty larceny. That's the
bare minimum.
Bare minimum you have to rob to try and go over a felony, and you're pulling out a gun. And it's like, I understand people come from bad situations. Right. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say, is like that people don't really need this and won't do that to try and survive. That's not what I'm saying, but it's just like, yo, like, you're putting your lives at risk, and you know they don't give a fuck about us.
Water bussin'. What's your nationality?
I'm Puerto Rican and Canadian.
I would have never known.
Yeah.
Canadian, and the Canadian part is, that's so far apart.
Yeah, well, they met in New York City, which makes a lot more sense, right? Yeah. So, I'm Puerto Rican on my dad's side. He lived on the island for several years and then moved to Harlem and lived there until he met my mom. My mom was in Canada for a while, so I'm a Canadian citizen, so I can cross both borders. I have all my paperwork.
You don't have to stay here.
Yeah, I could leave, but it's not that bad. It's, you know, America's not that bad. Canada's not that bad. I just like that Canada has that legal weed. This is what I'm talking about when I'm in the line there. When we were talking about weed. Mm-hmm. I had I've never understood anxiety at all, really, because I don't think I've had it, but I've felt it one time when we walked into this legal weed store in Canada. This shit looked like an Apple store, mad sterile, white walls, but you couldn't see any of the weed. They wouldn't show it to you. They just had the menu and the percentages next to it, like, oh, it's 25%, blah, blah, blah. And they had realistic percentages. Nothing was over 30, because, like, I think that's bullshit. Like, if someone's like, oh, it's over 30% THC, I'm just like, how do you know?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
how, Sway?
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, like, we got there, and they gave us a menu, right? And we're in this line that's
fucking
moving.
Menu?
Yeah, but it's multiple pages. Like, you know what I mean? So, it's 4 pages. Each section was a different section, so I'm like flipping through this thing trying to find what I want, and like the line's getting shorter, and I'm just like, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like, dog, like, so that's what I was talking about with that. But yeah, I'm Canadian, so I like going up there. I got family up there, and I don't really know any of my Spanish side of the family. I've been doing better at trying to figure that out, because my dad, his long lost son found his ass through Facebook.
That's how they always find them.
But like my dad doesn't have a Facebook. He found him through me.
Yeah, that's how.
Because he was like, that looks like my dad,
Mhm.
and he messaged somebody in the family, and my dad got my dad's son got back in contact with him after 30-something years.
Damn, he's a grown ass man.
He's a grown up man with his own family.
Damn, he got his own family.
Yeah, his own family. So it's
Damn,
like,
Jose.
yeah, man, crazy.
You have a big ass crib.
Mm-hmm.
You have a chef. You could post on social media, but
Mm-hmm.
you could leave the island whenever you want. You just go there when you need to do content. How long would you be at the island for?
I don't know. That's a good question, I guess. I'd be there until like the storm season came. You know what I mean? I ain't dealing with a hurricane on no island.
Why would it be a hurricane? Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't think this shit through.
Yeah, like nigga, like if you in the Atlantic, there's hurricane season. I'm leaving as soon as that shit touches. As soon as that shit's like, oh, it's hurricane season now, left. You know, I'm not risking it. Like the people complain about New York, bro. Nothing here can really kill us. We ain't got alligators, barely poisonous spiders. What do we got? Snowstorms? We ain't got hurricanes and fucking waves that can kill us. And fucking snakes, alligators, and all this bullshit, bro. We got at most bears.
Bears
Maybe
don't be fucking with us like that.
Maybe a wolf, but you have to go dead ass out there and find a wolf.
Out there in the cut.
Yeah,
you gotta be out there looking for something you're not looking for.
You're not supposed to. Yeah, you're not supposed to be there. So you deserve it. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen in New York? Really, you get cold.
Shot.
You get cold. You might get shot or stabbed. But that could happen anywhere.
No, but we're in New York, so it's like everyday
where
thing.
can it not happen? It can happen in Florida. They got all them guns down there. America has guns in general.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? As soon as you cross the southern border, like, you getting shot if you any type of color.
I'm just saying, in New York, if you step on a nigga Tim's, that's a death penalty on sight.
Yeah, it's true. Niggas getting soft, though, I feel like. Are niggas dying anymore?
What? Well, we've been sitting here talking our heads off, so we gonna end the video right here. Drop your Instagram. What's your Instagram? I'm gonna drop it right here.
Canaan, Santiago. You make sure you go follow that. Hit me if you need any help with podcasts, social media, filming, any of that stuff, man. We're here to strive, thrive, you know, support everyone else. I thank you for coming through, hitting me up, you know, doing that interview, you know, this interview. You know, I want to get you on the podcast, definitely, so we can have a longer conversation.
We can do that.
You know, y'all take it easy.
Sounds like a good commercial for Dove. Oh, y'all don't understand the quality of this camera. This shit is giving me movie vibes. Like, what the fuck? And it's brocky as fuck.